Hello once again, everyone, and welcome to Cruznik Sanctuary. I'm Cruznik X, your ever-glorious host. Alongside me, Eus.
Hello.
And Atticus.
Yeller.
Once again, we are playing Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker on the Path of the Reaper. Last episode, we ran into none other than the Void Sent Orcus, possessing the body of Priscilla's grandfather, it turns out. Unfortunately, we lost Arnagir in the process of our investigation into Orcus. His loss was greatly felt throughout several people, even throughout the Lemures. But Orcus has found his new prey, and that prey is the Warrior of Light. Nothing like being hunted, huh? But just wait. The hunter is not who you think it's gonna be. Anywhoosie, we've got 2 quests to go before the end of this quest line, so let's not waste any time because it's already 9:52. Let's get right to it with the level 78 quest, Thicker Than Blood. Glad to see Orcus hasn't sunk his teeth into you yet, Chris. Don't go thinking he's given up on trying, though. He can try. He's out there, savoring you from a distance. Can't resist checking in on his prize, just as he can't resist seeking out morsels to tide him over till his feast. The reports we received of a man pale as death skulking about the sands is proof of that. And then there's the matter of his blunted dagger. We don't know who sent it, but we do know what it means. It's a warning commonly used by the less savory elements in Ul'dah. A warning that the next will be delivered sharp and straight to our bellies. More fool them. They've no notion of what we've faced and lived, thinking we'd soil our small clothes over empty threats. Let's hope it's nothing more than that, lass. Seeing as we need to follow up on those reports sooner than later. Anyone fancy a bit of fresh air? If we catch a whiff of Orcus's foul stench, all the better. Chris, I want you to ask around near Blackbrush Station, and I'll head to Stone's Throw. When you're done, meet me there and we'll share what we've dug up. Alright, off to Blackbrush. By the way, just out of curiosity, and I always ask this of more of my new Cruznik Sanctuary crew, Rose, Eus, Atticus, what do you guys think of my voiceovers?
I think that they're entertaining to watch. You know what I mean? I think it's interesting how you can do different voices. I think that takes a lot of skill.
I try. I definitely need training, though. And to get rid of this deviated septum. If I could just break my nose back into place.
Bruh.
Anyway, we found a loyal Lemure, so let's talk with him. I recognize that self-assured stride. The mark of a man ready to take on the world and then some. You must be the Eorzean Reaper the boss sent word about. I'm almost disappointed to tell you nothing is amiss. The soldier in me would have loved to see a Reaper in action. I once fought in the Imperial Army, though you wouldn't think it to look at me now. I served proudly under Lord Valens in my youth, until the day he ordered us to use common folk as fodder in some pointless skirmish. I refused, and was sentenced to death for my candor. Needless to say, I didn't keep that appointment. Compared to that, evil toothless threats and ghosts are no bother. But the less jaded are more excitable. One lass in particular has been jumping at shadows. She claims to have seen all manner of terrors, but I suspect she'd be startled by her own reflection. Still, if you want to lend an ear to her delusions, you can find her in Lost Hope. Right. Let's ride. Haven't been to Lost Hope in ages. There she is. Ah! Oh, hello. Who are you? Oh, did Drusilla receive my missive? She sent someone to rid us of this terrible evil waiting in the wings? Truly, she cares for us as if we really were her own flesh and blood, which is more than I can say about my own. Not once have I longed to return to the life of comfort I left behind in Garlemald, and I have Drusilla to thank for that. She isn't the reason I left home in the first place, of course. Had I not met my beloved, I would likely still be feasting on lemon cakes in ignorance. In ignorance of love, of freedom. I found the former in Garlemald, and the latter in Eorzea, as our new life blossomed into something beautiful. Not every day has been easy, not even most days, but Drusilla's watchful eye has kept us safe, and our freedom is worth any measure of hardship. Such terrible fear gripped my heart when my beloved told me of the pale man he spied on the sands. But now that the family has come to help, I can breathe a sigh of relief. I'm sure you wish to know precisely where to find that horrid creature, but I cannot help half so well as my beloved might. Seek him in the southeast, and pray put an end to this nightmare. Why is it that I have a bad feeling about this?
You got this. You gotta press on.
Oh, found him. Through deviled mist the hunter doth now tread, tracking the scent of quarry others dread. In darkest night cry for a keeper. Lo, by your side he walks, the Reaper. Motherfucker, what? Apologies for the effusive display, friend. I'm a poet, you see, and cannot resist putting into words the flood of emotions that accompany such a striking figure as yours. Huh? Well, fuck. Monster! Well, shit. The bloodlust emanating from this voidsend is potent and powerful. Okay. Before we continue, can I just make an observation that I've made in the past, not outside of this live stream?
Yep.
They have really upped the quality of weapons drawing animations in the cutscenes.
They can try.
Yeah, they really have.
You've noticed it, right?
Yep.
Like, if you... Like, seriously, if you look... And Atticus probably won't understand because he's still early in the quest lines, but once he gets to Endwalker, he'll probably understand a little bit more. But if you look...
We'll hope that soon.
Yeah, but if you look very carefully at your weapon draw animation when you actually draw your weapon, as opposed to when it's drawn in cutscenes from Endwalker and up, the animations are a lot more elaborate now.
Right.
Like, even when I was working with Paladin, like, the draw was just so fluid. And I'm hoping they add that to the jobs outside of regular animations.
Right.
Anyway, I should probably get to work.
Ooh. Go.
Another void sense successfully exercised and or beaten. I'll send you an invoice. Thank you, thank you, thank you! My savior, my godsend! Would that I could have aided you, but alas, a poet's pen is of little use in battle. Unless, of course, that battle involves not swords and scythes, but words. Just ask the sire of my beloved, who is even now licking the wounds dealt by the invective verse I composed after he had the gall to forbid our union. A masterwork of scathing metaphor and subtle remonstration. Alas, for all their pretensions, nobles are anything but subtle in their rage. We were forced to flee, to abandon our homes with only our love for sustenance. Nevertheless, I've regretted not a single moment of our life in exile. In Eorzea we found an unexpected treasure. Freedom. Freedom of mind and freedom of heart. But I digress. Surely you did not seek me out simply to save my life and leave with a nod and a smile. Did you wish to commission a poem? No, I just want to know about the void scent you saw. The pale man? I encountered him whilst wandering these arid wastes in search of inspiration. I felt the gaze of some terrible presence upon my back, and when I turned to meet it, he was standing there, grinning like a butcher in a bullpen. He wore robes much too thick for these scorched sands, and his skin looked as if it had never been kissed by the blazing sun. Worst of all, his eyes were as two bottomless pools of blood. I feared my end had come, but then he vanished as quickly as he appeared. Perhaps I've been reckless. Recent incidents make it clear that the cost of inspiration is higher than I'm willing to pay. I shall return to my beloved, for both my safety and hers. Thank you again, my savior. Alright, back to Stone's Throw. And this time I'll take a shortcut.
Hey, Chris, real quick.
What's up?
I wanted to ask you something. This is totally off topic, and I'm so sorry for interrupting.
Go ahead.
However, I want this title in game. It's called Honeybee, and I'm looking at how you acquire it. You acquire it from delivering 150 collectibles to Kai Shear. Now, these collectibles, do you have to craft them? Or do
Okay.
you gather them?
You have to craft them, unfortunately. You have to get the materials, but you have to craft it yourself, and you can't have anybody else craft them.
Gotcha. Yeah, I really gotta level up my crafters.
Yeah.
Can you acquire these collectibles on any crafter, or do you have to like level up all of them?
I am unsure. I think you can use any crafter to craft it. But again, I'm not 100% certain, as I've never done custom deliveries.
Oh, gotcha.
Or at least I haven't at the time of this recording, so... Anywhoosie, we're back to see Drusilla. There she is. There you are. And? Another one of his accursed minions. Well, I suppose we can take comfort in the fact that none of the family came to harm, yourself included. Well done. Speaking of which, What do you think of this family you've been thrust into? Speak freely. I haven't lived this long by taking offense at opinions I don't want to hear. Seems like any other family to me. Ha! Seen some odd families then, I reckon. I'd like to think we're one of a kind, though. A collection of cast-offs unfit to live under the Empire's boot. Yours truly included. Much as some enlightened types might tell you otherwise, people like to have a say in the life they lead. That's what separates us from those bugs over there. Born queens, workers, drones, bred into rose and grain so deeply they wouldn't know how to live otherwise. For the glory and prosperity of the hive. But we've got it in us to be different. Might be born into farming, soldiering, or politicking, but we can choose to walk a different path whenever the fancy should strike. Tain't in our nature to accept our lot without question. No, we have to believe in something, put our faith in it. Only then will we deign to march in step. And indeed, faith of a savage stripe is one way to get us dancing to the same tune. Others might be compelled through faith and logic or law, intangible, invisible, yet cause enough for killing and conquering if it suits the queen. The invaders have sullied our birthright for 8 centuries. No longer. We march for Locus Amoenus. With a few righteous words, his radiance, Solus Zos Galvus, whipped the hive into a frenzy. Once that fire is burning, the passion of the masses can't soon be quelled. What was once a wish for home became a holy mission to spread enlightenment. Enlightenment which would not suffer such beliefs as the beastmen held. Countless scores rendered up their lives on the altar of empire, until an entire continent was united under a single Magitech fist. For those who still dreamed the dream of unity, a deed worthy of song. Yet some awoke to see it for the tyranny it was. My grandfather, Rullus, included. The talents of the Reapers are passed down through bloodlines. Rullus was the best of us, the most accomplished and feared in the Order's long history. The duty of the Reapers, our role in the hive, if you will, was to deliver our countrymen from corrupt and power-hungry tyrants. When Garlemald found religion in conquest, its appetite grew to be insatiable. My grandfather pondered this conundrum for many sleepless nights, and came to a decision. He would relieve Solus Zos Galvus of his life. "20 years ago, he slipped into the deepest chambers of the Imperial Palace, silent as a shadow, until he could hear the Emperor's beating heart. Yet when Rullus returned to me, Solus was alive and well. My grandfather, on the other hand, had a skittishness to his step, and his black hair had turned a pale white. He said naught of his encounter with the Emperor, save that the most powerful man in Garlemald was no man at all. Shamed in his defeat, my grandfather sought greater power. Bit by bit, he gave more of himself over to the void scent behind his avatar. Orcus struck when Rullus was weakest, taking his flesh and soul in one fell swoop. When he was finished, not a mote of my grandfather remained in that body. There was only Orcus. The fiend flew into a rapturous frenzy, and my family were his first victims. I remember the chill of his teeth sinking into my flesh, gnawing until they reached my very essence. How am I standing here before you then? Oh, Orcus gorged on a soul that night. But it wasn't mine. Not exactly. It was my avatar that filled his belly. Seems that was all he could stomach. Some might consider that a lucky twist of fate, but I had little time to ponder my fortune. Fled soon as I was able. His radiance never looked kindly on those trying to end his life, or their families. I wandered about for years until I settled here and started seeking out others like me. Others who had awoken from the Empire's dream. Lemures is what we call the spirits of the dead in the Garlean tongue. A fitting moniker if there ever was one. Waking up from a long sleep ain't unlike climbing out of the grave. I can attest to that. Son of a bleedin'. Remind me not to give such long-winded speeches when the sand is blowing in my face. I'm heading back for some ale. See you at headquarters. We are so close. How goes the fishing? I would have joined them on fishing, but unfortunately I want to get this Reaper questline done. How goes it?
It goes well. People are just trying to, like, fucking argue about the bait. I'm like, it's plump, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, but y'all do whatever y'all want.
Alright. Let's get inside. Welcome back, boss. How is the family? Shaken, but unharmed aside from some tousled hair and mangled verse. Orcus left one of his minions behind as a gift, but Chris made quick work of it. Always said he was a keeper. You have an eye for the fierce of heart. I wager he could slay Orcus all on his own. Not that we'd let him take all the glory. Course we wouldn't. We'll all be there when Orcus tries to take his prize. I don't think we'll be waiting long either. Orcus said he'd strike when Chris was ripe with fear and hatred and despair. Seasonings he's loath to forego. I've an inkling how he might try to draw out those emotions and finish off a half-eaten meal besides. Right you are, Drusilla! Well, hello! Oh, shit. How many nights did you mourn your lost avatar? The wellspring of your power. I must say, it was quite the dish. Ah, I think not. Move so much as a finger, and her head will hit the floor. Oh, that's it, Chris. That fire, I want to see it burn. I want to see it rage. I want to see the hatred seep into the depths of your soul. Shall I make this Drusilla's final breath? Or this one? It is so very hard to choose. I was right not to give in to my baser instincts, to allow the thought of your taste to simmer in my mind as you and Drusilla formed a bond, a kinship even, born from an understanding of her inconsequential ideals, that you may better appreciate the bitter loss. But perhaps I should wait a bit longer to let the flavor of your hatred mature and the tang of your malice ripen. I can make use of Drusilla yet, revel in her screams, exult in her misery. Ah, how splendid it will be! All the while my prize piglet growing fat with loathing and succulent with terror. Patience rewards the dutiful gourmand, after all. When your tantalizing flavor is fully matured, I shall return, and I shall reap my harvest. Well, shit. Herman, what do you got? Goddamn voice and bastard! Soulless piece of shite! We need to think, Herman. I know. Now's not the time to lose my temper. Deep breaths. Cool heads. Right. We need a plan. First things first. Find out where Orcus is hiding. The rest of the family should be able to help with that. In the meantime, you need to prepare. I know you're good, Chris, but we can't leave the boss's life to chance. Sharpen your skills and your scythe, then sharpen them once more. The boss can do naught against Orcus without her avatar. That means you'll have to do the heavy lifting. Of course, I'll do what I can to afford you an advantage. You can count on that. For Drusilla. The final quest will be the level 80 quest, The Killing Art. But until then, that's it for this episode of Cruisernick's Sanctuary. Thank you to Eus and Art and Atticus for joining us.
Thank you for having us always.
I'm going to take a trip to Yulmore right quick to gear up a little bit. Not really, but glamours are nice. But anyways, if you're watching this on Twitch, thank you all for watching. And I hope you all enjoyed this episode. If you're watching on Twitch or live from PlayStation and you like the show, click the follow button, turn on notifications so you're well informed, and be sure to subscribe for access to exclusive videos and live streams, or throw some bits our way. Every little bit helps. If you're watching on YouTube and you like this video, click the like button below and leave a comment. Subscribe by clicking here and click the bell icon for notifications. Click here to watch more. Click here to watch the previous episode, and click here to watch the final episode of The Path of the Reaper. We'll see you next time.